Hello and what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Echo Chamber. Very excited to have you guys here. Just gonna wait a couple seconds just to see on my end if I'm popping up on YouTube is actually being live. Only reason I'm so interested and want to double check to make sure that I actually am live right now is because my beautiful, lovely wife wanted to watch live. She graced us with her presence last episode, or last stream, and she was asking to get a link. So I want to see. I'm going to zoom myself out, give you guys an opportunity. What the heck? To access. Why is this not coming up? Oh, that's because it's the other Brave. Yes, there we go. Whoa. Bring that down. Alright, just so you guys can see, in case anyone ever watches this video later on, they want to let me know why. It says I'm streaming. It says I'm live streaming here on OBS, not OBX, OBS, Streamlabs. Let's see, let me go to YouTube and see live. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, let's see here, share. Let's see here. Copy that link, copy to clipboard. And now I'm going to send an email. I'm going to hide the email. So welcome. Hope everyone's having a beautiful week so far. It's been a busy Monday for myself, but I'm very excited. I got some fun news to share with you all in a second once we get started. Just a lot of moving parts here in the beginning. So, I guess I'll just get into some announcements while I'm getting this all sent out and getting this ready before we get into the real good meat and potatoes. If you watched the last couple streams, we were going over this high strangeness tier list. And I still really like the idea, and I think we're definitely going to do the idea, but watching back on the other stream before just wasn't as good as I would have liked it to been. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So next Wednesday, we're going to get back to the high strangeness iceberg. We're not going to do it today, just because I have some other stuff that I want to kind of get into and some news to drop. So with that being said, I do have an interesting little stream for you guys today. It'll probably be short. So we'll be getting back into the high strangeness iceberg next Wednesday, and I'll explain why next Wednesday. But we'll be getting back into it. We're just completely restarting. Like the fact that I couldn't tell you guys anything about Mothman, and I mean Mothman's the coolest. I just can't have. You guys need to know some cool shit about Mothman. The way that I think I'm going to do it is I might literally just over the course of the next, over a week, because it's going to be next Wednesday that we're back. We're not going to be streaming Monday. But for next tier list stream, I think I might just go through and take every single item that's on there. In here, let me load up a picture of the tier list for anyone who didn't tune in, just to show you guys how insane this thing is. Zoom out. I'll zoom out here. This is the tier list here. This is all the entries. It's a lot. It's a good amount. And there's some just completely, some insane sounding things that I've never heard of in my entire life. Let's see. Actually, I'm so insane that there's actually most of these things I have heard of. I'm trying to see if there's one. I don't know if I know what Orang Pendek is. It's probably just a good rule of thumb to take is if it sounds even a little bit like an animal or like a cryptid. It's probably just like a weird version of Bigfoot. So that's what I would take. One of my favorite things that I'm very excited to talk to you guys about eventually is, I don't even know if you guys can see it. Yeah, there it is. Jeff the Talking Mongoose. One of the coolest high strangeness stories probably of all time. It's so absolutely insane that it just actually might be true. But very excited to get into this. But what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm pretty much going to get in. Is this not showing you guys the whole... There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a old school, like, high school, college PowerPoint. And just go through and just do a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to make this as boring as possible, but as quality information as I possibly can as well. I don't know. There we go. I have no idea how to use any of this software. And even the software is such a tiny little thing on my screen because I still want to be able to see all the stuff on this. I'm a one-screen man. I don't believe in two screens. So I'm doing this all with one screen. You got to have a little bit of patience with me and my insanely tiny little knowledge of technology. So let's see. I'm officially sending the link to my wife to let her watch this car crash happen live. All right, so yeah, big plan is to start covering this all again. If you go back, you can still watch. We covered up to Patterson Gimli film. We went Sasquatch, UFO, Shadow People, Mothman, Pale Crawlers, Men in Black, Fae, Communion, A True Story, Synchronicities. Whoa. Why is it not big? Synchronicities, Dancing Plague of 1518, Patterson Gimli film, and that was it. We did not get to the Fresno Nightcrawlers. Fresno Nightcrawlers, though, I will cover that one tonight. It's just like if you ever hung your sheets out on a clothesline, like when you were a kid, if your mom ever like hung out your clothes on a clothesline, it just looks like sheets being blown in the wind. It's really not that interesting. It is kind of interesting. We'll watch the video. You know what? Screw it. We're just going to, if anyone is actually going to make it to this point of the stream and then doesn't see the Fresno Nightcrawler coverage, I apologize, but I'm going to show you this. We're going to cover the Fresno Nightcrawlers right now, tonight, in this stream, and then and that's it. We're not going to cover them for the PowerPoint that I make. Fresno Nightcrawler. This is pretty crazy. When I first saw this, I was probably like 12, 13 years old, and it was on, I think it was on Animal Planet. It was on Animal Planet, and it was right around like that that Halloween time of year. So they're playing like that other show. It was like Lost Tapes, Found Tapes, which maybe we'll pull up a little bit of that and watch a little bit of that tonight too, just to fill up some time. But they watched it was like the Found Tapes, cryptids. It was all like this weird stuff on Animal Planet that was just completely out there. It was like History Channel, like Ancient Aliens, but Animal Planet's version of that. Freaked me out because it is kind of crazy. Let's see. Watch this video first. Let me know. Oh yeah, there we go. I love cold water. I mean, this is like, I'm sorry, it's 2011, so you'd think it would look a little bit better, but yeah, it's shot on some shitty ass. I mean, it literally just looks like it looks freaky because it looks like two little legs, but it's not two little legs. It's probably just some kids. Oh, here we go.
This is a real video of a weird two-legged creature that was caught on camera in a town in California. These things were...
Alright, well, my screen is completely frozen. I can't see...
nicknamed the Fresno Nightcrawlers. And after that first appearance...
I wonder if you guys saw that. what that looked like for you guys. That was absolutely insane on my end. It literally just kind of like glitched out and froze completely. But yeah, it's just some freaky looking legs. It's probably just some kids who like took some sheets, wrapped themselves up in sheets, and just went out walking. They're really not. It's nothing that crazy. Let me see. One more. We'll try one more interesting video.
In 2007, a video captured in Fresno, California brought attention to a paranormal...
If you're out...
In 2007, a video captured in Fresno, California brought attention to a paranormal phenomenon known as the Fresno Nightcrawlers. These enigmatic beings, also referred to as the Fresno Aliens or the Fresno Stickmen, were depicted in the footage as two peculiar long-legged humanoid figures strolling across a residential lawn under the cover of darkness. Their slender, elongated bodies lacked discernible arms, and their deliberate, unhurried movements fascinated viewers. As the video spread across the internet, it ignited speculation and piqued curiosity about these mysterious creatures. Numerous theories emerged in an attempt to decipher their nature, with some proposing that they might be extraterrestrial beings or undiscovered cryptids. In 2007, a video captured in Fresno...
Just kids wearing sheets and the CCTV cameras just can't pick it up. And that's someone that's coming from me, who I literally believe anything you tell me. Especially the crazier it is, the more likely I'm willing to believe it. So that was our Fresno Nightcrawler coverage. Most likely just kids out late at night with sheets covering their heads, maybe even down to their feet, caught on really crappy cameras at night, like security cameras at night in 2011. Not that interesting. So we will pick up, we'll start with Sasquatch and go skip straight through. But I'll probably do a PowerPoint just going through each topic going forward. We'll take some quotes, some cool pictures, we'll do a little, it'll be good. It'll be much better that way. It'll be much easier for me to be able to present the information, and it'll be fun. Who doesn't like making PowerPoints? And I get to give myself the homework of making, honestly, making my dream PowerPoint, because this is the coolest stuff ever. Also very excited to introduce everybody to Grigory Rasputin, who has never, if you haven't got a chance to be if you haven't had a chance to meet or learn about Grigory Rasputin, it's going to be a blast. That's going to be, he might have to get his whole stream just to himself, because he's the man. All right, and with that being said, cool announcement that I had for you guys before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show. We're going, me and my beautiful wife, who was on the last stream, we're going down. We booked last minute. We're calling it our little baby moon, our little honeymoon. Obviously, like I'd spoken about in one of our other streams. Had the pleasure of getting married earlier this month on the 11th, and we're expecting a baby later on this year. So we just wanted to get away, get a chance to get out before everything kind of got too crazy and, life became, raising a child. So we're getting out, doing a vacation. We also just love to travel. I mean, we've talked about how we want to travel even when the baby's here, and once we feel like, it's safe enough for them to be around a lot of people, and, once we get, obviously, into a flow of things too as parents and know what we're supposed to do. We talked about, doing some traveling even when the baby is here, but obviously it's a nice opportunity for us to get out and, see some parts of America. And we're getting a chance to go to one of the oldest continuously inhabited settlement by Europeans in the United States. I don't know if I said that right, but we will be going over that in a second. We are going to, drum roll. Let me move myself over here. St. Augustine, Florida. Woo! Woo! Very, very excited to go to St. Augustine. I'm a huge history nerd. St. Augustine is the oldest continuously inhabited city in the United States. And it is in North Florida, so things are gonna be crazy in St. Augustine. So yeah, St. Augustine. Let's see here. It was named after St. Augustine of Hippo, which is a fun fact. It is part of Florida's first coast region and Jacksonville metropolitan area. Wow. Let's go Jacksonville Jaguars. And what else? What else? History here. The first European known to have explored the coast of Florida was the Spanish explorer and governor of Puerto Rico. Ooh, Juan Ponce de Leon, who is going to be a big character in this next part of the program here. He named the peninsula, which he believed to be an island, La Florida, and claimed the Spanish crown. Now, this Juan Ponce de Leon is a very interesting character. He believed that Florida, and specifically St. Augustine, was the location. This is Juan, by the way, Juan Ponce de Leon. He was a very handsome feller. He believed that Florida was the home of the Fountain of Youth. Now, that's pretty much all I know about that story. I just learned, I literally just learned about that today. I guess he was. Oh, it's pretty cool. Looks like he also governed Puerto Rico, maybe as a provincial governor. Ponce de Leon heard stories from island Caribs who had been captured when they raided Spanish colonies. They told them of gold on neighboring San Juan, not Puerto Rico. Whatever. All right. Yeah, but anyway, this guy total Giga Chad. Thought that he found the Fountain of Youth and thought that it was in St. Augustine. Here's a beautiful little picture. Let me zoom in for you guys. Beautiful, beautiful picture of the Fountain of Youth. I don't know about you guys, but that looks like the worst pool I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, look, what the hell is going? Let's take a closer look at this, everybody. I mean, this looks like a fever dream. Whoa. Alright, too much zoom in. Yeah, this looks like a fever dream to me. Mythical spring supposedly restores the youth of anyone who drinks or bathes in the waters. Tales of such a fountain have been recounted around the world for thousands of years, appearing in the writings of Herodotus and Alexander Romance, and the stories of Prester John. Let's see, where's points? There he is. The legend became particularly, words are so hard. The legend became prominent in the 16th century when it became associated with the Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon, the first governor of Puerto Rico. Oh, he was the first governor of Puerto Rico. I don't know why that other article made it. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just now realizing that this is like insanely zoomed in still. Ooh. There we go. That is my bad, guys. In case anyone who wanted to read around. All right, yeah, the legend became prominent in 16th. There we go. First governor of Puerto Rico, yeah, Juan Ponce de Leon. Again, that's this guy. Was also the first governor of Puerto Rico. Ponce de Leon was supposedly searching for the Fountain of Youth when he traveled to Florida in 1513. Legend had it that Native Americans told Ponce de Leon the Fountain of Youth was in Bimini. Where is Bimini? Is it Bimini is the westernmost district of the Bahamas and comprises a chain of islands located. Let's see. Wow, Bimini is pretty cool. It sounds like it's a setting of a Beach Boys song. Everyone does look very young in these pictures. They might be onto something here. All right, cool. Never mind, getting distracted. Yeah, Juan Ponce de Leon, this guy, is the Giga Chad first governor, first, third, and seventh governor of Puerto Rico. Juan Ponce de Leon, he was only in for 1 year. What is going on with Puerto Rico in that 1 year? It's 7 governors. and Juan Pons was 3 of them. Anyway, Juan Pons, this guy, Giga Chad, was looking for this hellish landscape, which is supposedly located in St. Augustine, Florida. Woo, St. Augustine, Florida. Which is where I'm going to my honeymoon, baby moon, mini moon with my wife. So very, very exciting stuff. But we will not be back until Monday at some point, and I'm not going to be streaming Monday. It's just going to be too much to travel and then try to get anything ready for the stream. So maybe I'll hop on if I really want to, but probably not. Like a 95% chance I'm not. So that's why we're just kind of messing around a little bit today. We're just fooling around. We're just doing some shenanigans. But no, actually, there's something I really wanted to talk about a little bit today, and it's something that I have been increasingly interested in over the last couple weeks, I would say, but really the last couple days. It's really hit me pretty hard, or at least not hard, but it's really, I've really kind of focused in statistically to to this topic, and that, when that happens, when I really get into something and I really dive in, there's a good chance it's something that I should talk about. And usually I usually don't talk to anybody. Usually I just kind of like, ruminate on it in my head. But that's why, one of the big reasons why I even want to do this stream is just so I can actually, verbalize some of these things that I get into, some of these ideas that kind of possess me for a couple days. This one I think is going to be bigger though, which is one of the reasons that I really want to speak about it as well. Like, this one's going to be something that is a big thread for us here on this stream going forward. So the big thing that I wanted to talk about, and the inspiration for the title of this stream, is the shadow. Now, anyone who's familiar with Carl Jung will know that there are like 2 major aspects to, the human psyche, and that's the ego and the shadow. And I just recently kind of got it into Rune Soup, which is this project, podcast about magic. Actually, I know it sounds corny, super cheesy, a little gay, but it's very interesting. And the guy Gordon White, I think, is extremely well spoken, extremely well read, very intelligent. And he also does a lot of work with someone else that I really enjoy, and that's Chris Knowles, who does a ton of good work on the Secret Sun blog. I think we've talked about him on a different stream. He's just the man. His stuff is incredible, and I would he's one of the people that if we ever have a chance to get him on the stream, it would be, that's goals number 1. He's the first guy. I'm trying to think who would it be. Who would the other guys be? It would be Chris Knowles, Owen Benjamin, Sam Tripoli, and Greg Carlwood. Just off the top of the head, of people who do podcasts, who talk about stuff that's similar to what I like talking about, people that I would like to shoot the shit with and just discuss things with, those would be the 4. They're awesome. But anyway, Gordon White would probably be like around number 5. I'm newer to him than some of those other people, so I'm more comfortable saying that those guys are the top 4 solidified. But anyways, I started listening to Rune Soup, Gordon White's podcast, and it's been just very educational about the shadow. And the shadow is interesting to me because Carl Jung is someone who I'm also very interested in. And for a random reason, I can't explain why, but a few weeks ago I started to look into quantum physics. And quantum physics and Jung have this interesting overlap. And if you don't believe me, I found this really cool paper that we're going to go over just for a little bit here about Carl Gustav Jung, Quantum Physics and the Spiritual Mind, A Mystic Vision of the 21st Century, by Diego Valdez Pont and Lothar Schaefer. Lothar, super cool name. Really dig that. Ooh, too. But again, really, really interesting because I love Carl Jung's work, the subconscious mind, all these things. And if you're not super familiar with Carl Jung is one of the founding fathers of psychology. He was a early 1900s psychoanalyst who kind of followed in the footsteps of Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud had the id, the ego, and the superego as the three major parts of the psyche, but Carl Jung differed and said that there was two real major, aspects of the human psyche. That's the ego and the shadow. The ego is pretty much everything that you learn to be throughout childhood and your early development. You learn to follow certain rules, to not act in certain ways, to do certain things in certain times. It's your learned behavior. It's how you were kind of molded by the world almost. That could be complete. It's not the best definition for sure. I'm not as well versed on it as I'm sure plenty of other people are, but it's one of the great metaphors that Gordon White talks about, that some other British poet, I always forget who the guy is, but his metaphor for the shadow is, you spend the first 18 years of your life packing up this bag, going along and just shoving stuff in this bag every year that you're going along, and you spend the entire rest of your life trying to unpack that bag. And the act of you packing, you are the ego, your identity, your copes, the way that your people pleasing behavior is your ego. That's who you are. It's the learned behaviors that you have. But what I'm interested in is the shadow. Now, the shadow is, people like to think it's like the bad aspect of who you are, but it's not the bad. It's just the opposite. It's whatever your unlearned was. It's the childish. It is the childish, the more analytic, it's the more chaotic, but it's just the opposite of what you were learned. It's your it's just the inverse of you. Just like your shadow is just a dark outline of you. Your shadow's not evil. It just is. So again, a good example that Gordon was talking about was how if you have really overbearing parents, you want you to be good at everything. Your shadow is going to be different. It's still going to exist, but it's going to be different than someone whose parents were allowed them to just do whatever they wanted. Like the kid whose parents, if you had a kid, parents super loving, super supportive, allows him to do whatever he wants, make whatever decisions he wants. If he wants to learn guitar, but decides, that's too hard, I'm going to switch. I'm not going to do guitar anymore. The parents will, completely support that child. That child's still going to have a shadow that he's packing from that experience, and that shadow might be that they, they wish that their parents would have pushed them to be a little bit more, to get through things, and maybe they cope with that in their ego by, if they try some new skill, they just quit, early on as soon as it gets hard, because they were never forced to push through, that barrier of any skill where you kind of suck at it and you have to keep going. So the shadow would be, I don't know, but there would be, I don't even know where I'm going anymore. The shadow would be that other self, that other aspect of the self, other than the learned, other than the ego. And one of the interesting things about the shadow is how Jung thought we should kind of interact with the shadow. And according to Jung, a lot of the issues, problems, the anxieties, just a lot of our problems as a society on the larger scale, because we also believe in this collective unconscious, is due to our failure as a society to have systems in place to integrate the shadow. And on an individual level, obviously that it's It'd be great if we had systems to do it, but even on an individual level, we don't have a great knowledge of how to do it. And one of the things that Jung was nervous about was, not Jung was nervous about. One of the things he was asked about was the probabilities of World War III and nuclear war specifically. And let's see. He recently given all the media reports on the bolstering by certain heads of state threatening nuclear war. A student asked if Jung ever spoke about the likelihood of atomic war. In fact, he was asked this exact question around 1954 in the meeting of the Psychology Club. The context then was that the Cold War was. The context then was the Cold War. The context then was the Cold War. That interval when the world witnessed the formation and. I swear to God, I'm literate. I can read. I don't know why this is getting me so messed up right now. The glasses actually do make things pretty dark for the screen, but anyway, both camps had nuclear weapons, and then, as now, people worried if these weapons would be used. Barbara Hanna, one of Jung's most devoted students, recorded his answer. I think it depends on how people can stand the tension of the opposites in themselves. If enough can do it, I think the solution will just hold, and we shall be able to creep around innumerable threats, and thus avoid the worst catastrophe of all, the final clash of opposites in an atomic war. But if we are not enough, and such a war should break out, I am afraid it would inevitably mean the end of our civilization, and as so many civilizations have ended in the past on a smaller scale. So Jung was worried about nuclear war being a reality if and only if we failed to fully integrate the shadow. So, what I thought was, I guess it's nothing there. We'll go over some of that stuff later. So, the reason why I'm talking about all this, I'm talking about Jung, the shadow, because it's not I'm not a psychologist, I'm not an expert on Carl Jung. I'm just a dude on the internet who's messing around yin yang. I was gonna get into that too, but it's whoa. Sorry, I gotta fix this. Why I'm talking about all this? Why I'm talking about Carl Jung, the shadow, integration, nuclear war. All of this is point and blank. For the next couple weeks, my goal is to, for myself, for the next 2 months, because September is really when I'm going to begin this process. But this month I'm really setting up the kind of prep work for it. But I really do believe in this idea of we live in a realm that is so different than I think what we've been taught that it is. It's much more of a mental realm where these archetypes, these myths, all these things that we don't think matter are actually the true things in reality. It's very hard to describe, and Gordon White, Chris Knowles, all these people do a much better job of doing it, but it's this idea that, like, when we read, like, Lord of the Rings is representing something that's just as true as reality that we experience. It's just a different kind of fractal version of that truth. And there's an argument that the truths contained within something like Lord of the Rings are more true than anything that we might experience, even on a day-to-day, just kind of basic reality experience. And those are like what the archetypes are. The archetypes are the most foundational, real building blocks of reality. And an archetype, I'm going to share my screen for this too, because I know I just kind of talk out of my ass. I'm sure many people watching know what an archetype is, but archetype is an original model or type after which other similar things are patented into prototype. An ideal example of a type, a quintessence. I swear to God, I can read. In Jungian psychology, an inherent pattern of thought or symbolic imagery derived from past collective experience and present in the individual unconscious. So, like the hero. Your archetype is a classic. Unusual circumstances of birth, leaves family and lives with others. Traumatic events lead to quest, special weapon, supernatural help. Traumatic event leads to quest, special weapon, supernatural help. I'm trying to go on my hero arc. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go. So let's see. I'm going on my hero's journey. This is the man, Joseph Campbell, who created the hero's journey. Oh, didn't create the hero's journey. He was one of many people to extract and discuss the hero's journey, the Heroine Journeys Project. Here we are, hero's journey. Let's zoom in on that for you guys. Yes. So Joseph Campbell came up with the idea, or again, was one of the people to come up with the idea of the monomyth, that there is this, most stories, thousands and thousands and thousands over time and history. The heck is this? Campbell's version of the hero journey. Okay, there we go. So I was just making sure this is the correct hero's journey. But Joseph Campbell created the idea of the monomyth, that these archetypes play out over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in these similar kind of heroic stories. These archetypes are extremely important because they are belonging to the the collective unconscious. We all innately understand them. We understand the archetype of the princess, the hero. We understand the archetype of the hero's journey. We understand the hero's journey. We enjoy the hero's journey. Star Wars is literally just the hero's journey. Call to adventure, refusal of the call, supernatural aid, the crossing of the first threshold, the belly of the whale, initiation, return, and freedom to live. So, and our goal, this is not just important for stories, if you're interested in telling stories, our goal as people, in order to integrate the shadow, is to integrate the shadow and become the best, most full adventure of ourselves, to become the hero, is to do the hero of our own lives, is to do our own hero's journey. And it's natural. We'll be called to adventure. I'm telling you, I've felt over the last, couple weeks, I was like, you got to do this. You have to go out, and you have to go to the underworld. You have to save yourself. And there's definitely been refusal of the call. There's that natural hesitation for anybody. Even Luke Skywalker. You remember Star Wars, if you haven't completely given up on Star Wars. Frodo, this a story that I like actually arguably better. Lord of the Rings, Frodo, 100%. Bilbo in The Hobbit, 100% refusal. They're they literally both have a crazy wizard show up and essentially call them to adventure, and both times they refuse the call. Supernatural aid, both had a wizard. Luke had Obi-Wan Kenobi. Crossing of the first threshold, belly of the whale. Road of trials, meeting the goddess. Woman as a temptress. Atonement with the father. Apotheosis, the ultimate boon. Refusal of the return. The magic flight. Rescue from without. I do have to go and reread the Joseph Campbell hero's journey because it is really awesome. But that's what I'm doing. I'm going to the underworld. Going to the underworld and saving myself. And I'm meeting the devil to Yes, the concept of going to the underworld and saving myself, that's cool. Underworld salvation. I just want to I don't know what any of these images are. I was hoping for like a really cool badass archetypal drawing. Maybe like the Greeks, Hades. Nah. All pretty lame. But yes, I am going to the underworld, the proverbial metaphorical underworld, to rescue my shadow and fully integrate myself so that I may be the best version of myself. I'm all crazy, all insane. I know it sounds absolutely insane, but there's been so many weird little synchronicities and little things lining up, and just certain feelings lining me up with, I need to undertake this this archetypal journey, this archetypal descent into the underworld to integrate my shadow, and that it'll be doing good for the world, and that, I could help, do one little. Ooh, sorry, these are all. Oh, you guys can't see this. Sorry. Yeah, so I can do my own, at least one little part in trying to avoid nuclear fallout in World War III, which I don't even know if it's possible, just because I don't know if nukes are real. To be as insane as possible. I don't know if nukes are even real, so I'm not super worried about what's it called? About nuclear fallout, but I am worried about other stuff. About like some solar flare or something. There's a lot of like crazy stuff lining up for 2026, which I am also going to do a stream about at some point. Once we get through some of the high strangeness tier list stuff, iceberg stuff, we will be going over in a little bit more depth some of all the apocalypse stuff that is being predicted and talked about right now, because it's pretty crazy right now, honestly, and it's a little stressful, but it's all right because I'm going to take my hero's journey. It's gonna suck, but I'm gonna go on my hero's journey and do my part to prevent the apocalypse. Totally sane person. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin to wrap up this stream. I know eventually I will be better at this. I will get better at this, and that's why I'm not too worried about like advertising this and getting people to watch this right now, just because again I'm so raw and so bad at this, so bad at talking and organizing my thoughts and doing proper research and really being able to give you guys something of value, some education of value. But then again, maybe not. Maybe that is just my shadow speaking. That might just be my an egoic cope to deal with trying something new, not being good at it right away. Maybe I'm solid. I'm just trying to self-destruct. I don't know because I haven't integrated my shadow. Oh yeah, self-destruct. Such an idiot. Shadow talking. But yeah, like very basic. Like self-destruction is the shadow. It's you taking yourself out because you don't think you deserve it. That's the bad part of the shadow. But we'll talk about this a lot more. This is not going to be like a one and done topic of conversation unless you guys really hate this. I'll be talking about this more. This whole shadow integration. Just because I find it extremely interesting, and I love the idea of living out the hero's journey in reality, living out the archetype, because the archetypes are truer than physical reality. They just are. So, with that being said, it's time for some chess. So let me get that whole thing in there. I'll show you guys my rating in a second. I think I went down. Yeah, I'm a 685. I can't remember what we ended last stream at. I think it was 700. We were playing pretty well. Yeah, or maybe we weren't. There was for sure one stream where we were on fire. And I can't remember if that was the last stream or not. Wow, that was really fucking dumb by him. Oh, sorry. I'm going to curse. Alright, guess it wasn't that dumb for that guy. That was pretty swaggy. Oh, chat, it's over. GG's. GG's! Can't believe you missed that. I wasn't even playing that good. I was actually playing pretty booty. Big win for the team. All right. Let's see. Back-to-back losses. We're done. Eventually I'm gonna learn everything that I'm talking. I'll be so good at this. I've taken like notes from whatever my topic is, or just not, and I'll just get so good at just rambling, like the schizo mystic that I am, that we'll just play chess the entire stream, and I'll just be playing chess while having some ridiculous schizo topic talk to you. Talk at you. I have no idea what I'm saying. That day is not today. Of me being able to ooh, I kind of like just you letting you take that. Yeah, eventually I'll be so good at this that this whole fuck me. Kind of like that. Let's see. Yeah, that guy was being a good sport. Oh, let's see. It's still so weird that you guys. Let me zoom a little bit out for you. Hmm. This guy's pretty solid. It's also kind of a cocksucker. Let's see. What does he do? What does he do? Ooh, does she take back? Does he take back? I got one of your bishops, bro. Hell yeah. That is awesome work. That is truly some epic work. God damn it. Sorry for the quietness here, chat. I am locked in here. He's trying to get me that way. Just be fast. Keep being fast. Nice. There we go. Shouldn't have won that game, 100% honest. Not playing very good, but I'll take it. All right, last game for the night. I think, even with the 2 losses, I'm just very sleepy. Very sleepy boy. I got a long day tomorrow. I got some laundry to do. I got some trip stuff to plan. You know, it's busy being me, having the greatest life of all time, being chubby and sexy and everything, all that other stuff. Yeah, that's a fantastic move there, guy. Really got me. Yeah, that was really bad, chat. That was not good. I was not thinking there. Quite literally at all. Damn, I really don't want to lose. If I lose this game, I'll have to play again. I'll play one more. I really don't want to. Come on, try me. Try me. That's a very odd move. No, it's actually a pretty solid move. Why'd I do that? Yeah, alright. I'm resigning, folks. I'm gonna call that one early. That was literally disgusting. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. Awful. Awful display of chess ability there, folks. I'm sorry you had to watch that. That's right, though. We're gonna win this game. We're gonna get back over 700 on our quest to be a 1200 chess player. Super low. Keeping it super low for the goals. It's alright. I'll just take that. It's fine. Honestly, you just kind of strengthened my pawn center here. Go ahead. Take the pawn. Take it. I think I care about that. Excuse me, chat. Take it. Take it. I dare you. That was crazy. Nice guy. Hell yeah. Nice. There we go. Back over 3. All right. Do we do one more? One more. One more to get to 709 or whatever it is. We've done pretty good. I mean, we're at, what are we, 3 and... What the hell? We're at, I forget what our record is tonight, but we're doing pretty good. We definitely have a winning record. We only lost 1. This guy's playing very odd. You think you're clever. I've never seen that one before. Yeah, still not that interesting, honestly. I will bring this guy out, though. We'll bring out the little bishop here in a second. Damn, they shucks. I did not think about that. That's alright, though. Damn, that's gonna suck. We're gonna lose this one. We're gonna lose this one, team. It's very sad. It's alright, though. We're gonna keep playing. We're gonna play to win. We don't play to lose here. We will try to still win this. Ah, shit. 100% just blundered away my queen. Should lose here. Let's see if he takes it. Let's see if this guy is integrated as Shadow, or if he's just a loser who's missed out on his hero's journey. Oh my god. Oh my god, what an end to the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, what an end to the stream. That guy has not integrated his Shadow. He missed the blunder of a lifetime. He was a good sport, though. He was a good sport. Hell yeah, what a end to the stream. Gained a bunch of little points there. Let's see. I'm pretty sure, and I tried to do this before, where I try to look up my stats. I don't know why it's so hard to find my stats. Oh, there it is. Blitz. There we go. I think it's all games. Yeah, 571, 552. Pretty good. I win about 49%, lose about 47%. I'm literally just a coin flip. But, you look at that. I think that was tonight, right? Looks like we went 4-1. I'm elite all time on the stream, honestly. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for... Whoa. This thing sucks. Alright. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Maybe one of you, I think my wife, probably watched for like a couple minutes, but thank you for tuning in. I promise to be better and to keep working on both myself through Shadow integration and to continue working on the skill of streaming. Sorry, burp. And delivering information. So enjoy your Monday night. I will see you next Wednesday to go over the first tier of the high strangeness iceberg. Peace, God bless.